Very good evening to you and welcome once again to this live broadcast coming to you live from the Azimio TV center right here in Nairobi on Azimio TV. It is the second day of September, Friday, 24 days after the 9th of August general elections. Now, a very eventful period at the Supreme Court, and there's some terminologies that came out. Allow me just to bring you up to speed on some. Quick one by lawyer Yan Mohammed that, quote, Martin Luther King in 1968 said, "We shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice, and that's all Kenya needs." We also remember Piki Piki, Ponki, Pakamiele Disco. We also remember plumbers. And I'm now joined by Sabina Chege, Honorable Sabina Chege. And I want to believe you are still the woman rep Murang'a County until another one is sworn in. Yes. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
And very good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Good to see you too outside the campaign trail now in a studio.
I tell you, can you believe it? It's such a different world altogether. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of things have transpired, and the judges have now retreated to go and write a judgment, and the Supreme Court President, Justice Martha Koome, indicates that by Monday they should be reading out the judgment. Her deputy also asked Kenyans to pray for them, that they may have a discerning spirit so that they make the right decision. What's your take, especially on this matter of smartmatics? Now, smartmatics is at the fore. We have names like Jose and a host of other Venezuelans who are able to access our servers. It's a sticky point. What's your...
IEBC, they didn't really want this election to happen.
Right.
And especially the role of Chebukati in everything. Mm-hmm. I see like he really wanted this to fail. He didn't want it to work. Mm-hmm. Today when I was following the proceedings, and at some point when our lawyers presented, and there was an issue that IEBC is not even in charge of its own servers.
Right.
When the court asked for the servers to be open, issue, but there were sticky issues that was.
Right.
The report was in public. We don't looking for what was posted in public portal.
Right.
What was it removed? Bearing in mind that IEBC, they were and what for advised, with better experience before. And so looking at the issue that even the lawyers brought about, the issue of reporting, the issue of formats, all those things that were technical, it tells me that Chebukati was not willing to follow the law, and he already had predetermined results, and he had already a candidate in mind. It is for the first time that we are now going to court when the commission. And of course, I don't want to go to the jargons, but from the issues, there were 4 months just in the office, and they found a one-man show. Right. Chebukati had already started implementing things and doing things he could not. It became a one-man show. And what from the voting registered, the issue of whether it's going to be manual or fully technical, it's too late, and some of them had even passed the deadline. But the political parties, and I think the Kenyans' confidence They were pushed to the corner. When at Bomas, that they could not agree and they decided to walk away. You know, some of those questions that were raised even today, why were the 27 notes, you know, announced?
Yes.
Why was Chebukati in a hurry and he had a day?
He had a day to go.
To go. IEBC lawyers to answer. Many, he as a Kenyan. And then we ask ourselves, did we? Some of the comments, when I went down to Mombasa and we were going to do the elections for the governor, I went down there, I interacted with people, and people are very disappointed. And I met some tuk-tuk drivers.
Right.
They were showing me that they voted, but they were asking me, why should we vote this time?
Yes.
Whereas there's somebody behind the scenes who will determine who becomes, you know,
at the
our
end
leader.
of the day.
So that is something that needs to be addressed. A question that was also not addressed today is that if then Chebukati would be found guilty, even if he were to do a repeat election, would he still be the person who trust him? So there are many questions. And then if not him, then who? Rightfully say it, I'm still the women rep Moranga because not anyone has to happen. And are we going that have been given by the Constitution?
By the Constitution. Right.
And you know, as what Swahili says, kuvunjika na mtu
Yes.
Kacheliba, West Pokot, and Kitui, where Kenyans went out to defend their own votes, where Kenyans told the members of parliament, if you have come to buy votes here, you have to leave. To the police that they normally say they don't protect them.
Yes.
This time the people took charge. And I can say we'll have a repeat. That do not rely on IEBC because IEBC have also proven that they are not reliable. You know, if I am a candidate, is it a must that I have agents? IEBC will do credible elections because that's why they have employed the POs, the ROs, the clerks. They are supposed to even take an oath that whatever I am going to make sure that that is what I report.
Right.
So the issue that you as a PO or RO reports 100 and you deny them 900. I hope this time the Supreme Court is wasting Kenyans' time. You know, you says care
at the end of the day
because of, you know, not for. And I think that's where we need to move on as a country. Where people fail integrity test, then who takes responsibility?
I hear
so
you.
as Kenyans, and I'm sure then, even as we look forward to the next level, we must also think, do we then have to do the processes the way we have been doing before? Because if people go and who they want, then can we use another way of things? I think the next parliament. Or what the Constitution says, right. There are many things that we need to look at.
The People Vs Chebukati live here on Azimio. Coming in, by the way. Watching Baba Chantel, okay. It is well done. I must acknowledge from all the stakeholders in this presidential petition hearing, declare Baba. That is his opinion. Bushma, let me just take you back a bit. There's something you did mention by Philip Murgor, one of the lawyers for the petitioners, that foreigners, there's a footprint of 6 foreigners making entries over 180 times. Now, Smartmatics also deposited a letter with the Supreme Court saying because of certain contractual issues or rights. Places then on the part of Kenyans, how supreme is the Supreme Court if the company contracted being paid for by Kenyans?
You see, it's not even about the Supreme Court, because even 2017 they asked the servers to be opened, they were not opened. And what did they do to IEBC? Even to the officials who refused to. So you see, now that's why I say we will not open. To purchase their system. There was a question of the data that is in that is within that system. So who wants that data? Is it the Venezuela people or Kenyans? So really that was a rude letter and shows that maybe the Supreme Court looks helpless. But I think this is the high time that, apart from what was the request from the petitioners,
yes,
that the Supreme Court now needs to make a ruling out of it. That's why I said it seems like IEBC, and in a larger extent, the most accused is Chebukati, had already designed this a long time ago. The issue of how the system was bought was raised. There was even almost a cancellation of that contract, but it was too late. And why it was not cancelled is because the timelines then would not have met the deadline for the constitution and for the elections to happen. So how did we end up having these guys as the people to provide the system for us?
Exactly, yeah.
And then they dictate to us. And then they're the only ones who have access to the system. I was amazed to hear the lawyers saying that whatever was found in the boxes is what was posted in the system. What did we expect? So they only needed to, the other form that was 34(2).
Right. They
only needed to edit, put it in the box, and then just post it and edit it. Really what we did, or what the POs did at the tallying or the polling stations, was null and void. I had about 6 GB.
Yeah, we also had that.
Exactly.
And I mean, can so, 6 GB hold the whole, all that information?
Yes. You know? So, as I said, there are many questions and there are glaring issues that have come out. And I hope and I pray for wisdom for our judges. They have done it before. I know even this time God is going to provide to them wisdom. But above all, I ask Kenyans to pray, because it seems that somebody was out there just to make sure that the will of people is not.
As a legislator, followed. Is there law that governs international contractual obligations? Does Venezuela have an embassy here? What happens when one of their nationals is involved in criminal activity? Before we even go to the law. Right. Because, you know, as I said, Kenya is a sovereign country. And right. The first thing that the Constitution, you know, identifies is the power that the people of Kenya have. Mm-hmm. So there's nobody else who is more supreme mm-hmm. than the Kenyan people. But secondly, how did we even get contract criminals? Because I'll call them criminals. Why? How would anybody who owns or works for a company that has provided to us elections, you know, materials or system, right, travels with an expired passport, comes here, they were arrested with some materials that were elections materials. How did even that case die off? At what point did they leave Kenya? Where are those people? Are you even sure then they are Venezuelans? Because their identity, no one is even allowed to leave. I cannot leave Nairobi, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, right, with an expired passport. Right. How did they leave Venezuela? Are we even sure that they are from there? That's what I'm saying. The whole of this thing is total mess.
It's actually total mess. How did we even get there? That we have people who have access to our system, electoral system, who are actually criminals. And I'll call them criminals because if you can travel with expired documents and you find your way from your country to another country,
right,
then already there are many questions that needed to be answered at that point. And I would be interested to know what the DCI said about them, the laptops that were taken from them, what content was found. I really didn't get to get that information. And so we are even saying at the Supreme Court, we were addressing the issue of the presidential. So how sure are we? And I can tell you, I can tell you from Central Kenya, I will be biased to go to my own friend's constituency called Kanini Kega.
Yes.
With the work that Kanini Kega has done for his people, I have been with Kanini on the ground. I can tell you the results that were posted for Keni constituency were not the right results. Something fishy happened in the mountain. Something fishy happened that there was no entire Mount Kenya apart from Nyandarua, where we only got 2 members of parliament, that we didn't get our members of parliament be voted in. Somebody was busy trying to paint Mount Kenya that color, but I can tell you.
We'll come back to Mount Kenya because
yes,
it is a
there's a
point
bigger
of interest.
battle, and
yes,
maybe much more exposure will come in on what happened.
Right.
And I think the presidential results are just an indication that we really had elections or are not elections. And somebody sat somewhere and decided who is going to be our leader in various constituencies mapped out. I remember when we got that guy of the Starehe at night.
Right.
He had a paper
Right.
that was written, handwritten paper, the results of each candidate. So how did he even know the results of each candidate? And then he had materials, IEBC materials, outside, carrying with a backpack, outside the polling station. Where was he taking the materials? So I did not even hear the explanation on how you can get the presidential candidate getting 100,000 votes more than a governor or than a senator or than a one-man rep. Do you want to tell me that there were people who went and voted for only the presidential candidate and not all the other people? And we know what motivates people to go vote. We saw it in Mombasa and Kakamega. When it's only one candidate, the voter turnout is lower. So the presidential is not really a It comes to the MPs because they have the numbers.
Yes.
So then we go to the governor, then the presidential becomes last. So at the end of the day, that means then there was some monkey business that happened behind the scenes. And because maybe people were not able to carry the ballot papers to the stations, either they were giving more than one ballot paper to some people for presidential candidates or for the governorship. You never know. And maybe some of these things, people will come out to tell stories. We know there are people who are fearing for their lives because they were involved in other things. We have seen people losing their lives. So this, I can tell you, is the most, I don't even know the word to use. The elections this time, they were mishandled, and actually Chebukati is a disappointment to this country.
Very well, if you're just joining us, this is the People Vs Chebukati, right here on Azimio TV. Mheshimiwa, there's a very interesting comment here from James Kibe. He says, Baba must be sworn in, Chebukati must be arrested, Salimia huyo mrembo, she kills me totally. I don't know how you're alive, Kibe, if you have been killed so many times.
Exactly.
Now, Mheshimiwa, back to Mount Kenya. Nakuru, Nyandarua, Moranga, Nyeri, Kirinyaga. Now, in Kirinyaga alone, it is said that there were over 25,000 people who just voted for the president and went back home. You are a ground person, so to put it, because there's a saying that ground vitu zinakuanga different. What was the ground like? Now, politically speaking, away from the
politically speaking, it is the first time that Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga has managed to come to Central Kenya, done his politics, asked for votes, and there have been no chaos. He was welcomed. For the first time, I would go to my village and people are like, Sisi tuko na Baba. Initially, it would have been, if I am with Baba, I cannot even go home. And we got many professionals who went out to campaign for Baba. And for the first time, apart from the 0.1, 0.8 that Baba was getting,
Yes.
even after they did all they did behind the scenes,
Yes.
Baba was able to get around 26% of the Mount Kenya votes. So already, this election, and Azimio la Umoja was a blessing to this nation. It is the first time as myself from Murang'a, a Kikuyu can go to Kisumu and I'm a hero. I can go to Coast and I can, like, we have now gotten the spirit of Kenyanhood.
Right.
That everybody is free to live in each and every place. And that's why you saw this time, there was no violence. There's nowhere that we reported that people were being moved or people were being threatened, because Azimio la Umoja brought unity in the country, not only in Mount Kenya region, but everywhere else. So somebody was hell-bent to paint Mount Kenya in another way. And even if they tried, the 26% is out of this world, is record. But we know we must have been over 35, almost at 40%, even after what they did. But for the first time, we got people going and voting for Baba. And we broke, there was almost some, beliefs that were there before. When we were born, brought up, you could not even have had a boyfriend from Luo Nyanza. It was almost a taboo.
It was that bad.
Exactly.
Right.
But for the first time, if I have a boyfriend from Luo Nyanza, the other girls will actually admire me. So we were able to break the barriers.
Right.
We were able to have our people coming to the other regions that they felt like they were not welcome. The people from Luo Nyanza and other sections, of the Republic of Kenya, for once we have had that unity. And now we can be called Kenyans, because I never applied to be born a Kikuyu.
Right.
Neither did the other person apply to be born a Meru or a Kalenjin or a Luo or from coastal region. We all found ourselves there. And what is most important is that umoja. We need all to be treated equally. For the first time, I got exposed to the discrimination in other regions. For the first time, I visited Siaya, and I was going there for voter mobilization. I met a lady who was going to fetch water in the lake. And I was asking her, because... So,
What do Oh, chauffeur.
actually, even that was not how we... The bicycle carrying 2 jerrycans of water and 2 children. And so she looked weak, and I found her and I said, can I help? So I helped her push the bicycle. And I asked her, where are you from? She said, from the lake. She told me she's coming from the lake to wash her clothes and to fetch water. And then I asked her, how do you take this water? She said, yeah, we just boil some time. Can't we have a system? We have a whole ministry of water, where we can be able to purify that water and feed the community.
Yes. And we have
That this
water.
lady is going to bath her children and carry wet clothes, and her child who was 1.5 years but looked like 6 months old because of malnutrition. Then I came to understand even the issue about malaria and the issue of how it affects even the birth rate of the women in Nyanza. And I'm asking myself, then why has the Ministry of Health not addressed this? So do we only have development going to only one side of the country and not the other, because you are the ones who have voted for your own guy? And I started asking myself questions, and I was able to appreciate. So even my own people, and I'll tell them, might be one day, one time, you regret. Saying Uhuru Maliza, and he has Malizad. He's, wherever he is, relaxing. But the benefit that in my own village called Kenyona, there's a tarmac passing there. You can have access to fresh, clean water. We have hospitals in central Kenya. During Uhuru's time, we got Odaya, which is now Moi Kibaki Hospital, is a national hospital. So people from Nyeri, from Meru, all the way, they don't have to come to Kenyatta. They have their Kenyatta, which is Moi Kibaki, in Odaya. We have the state-of-art hospital here, KU Hospital. We have another one in Gatundu. And you hear Gatundu people saying, Maliza Wende. You never know the value of what you have until you lose
Now
it.
that you've spoken
And now
to
they
that.
can know what other Kenyans are missing. And let me tell you,
Right.
I will forever, and I will stand. I'm not moving. I would want to support Baba, because there are people who have pegged their hopes that one day when Baba becomes the president, they'll be able to access some of the privileges that other people have accessed. And I pray to God that their prayer will be heard this time.
Mheshimiwa, now that you've spoken to that, there appears to be a hate syndrome. I just want to refer to 2 leaders. Oscar Sudi the other day, actually, in fact, even threatened county commissioners. He was already firing people, okay? We have Ndindi Nyoro, who's from Moranga, as you as well. He made a scathing attack on President Uhuru Kenyatta. What is this that is so divorced from logic and so embedded in this hateful emotion?
It's when people access to little power, because it's not really power, and that they feel that they are the ones who have the sense of ownership and nobody else deserves it. Oscar Sudi attacked County Commissioner Gishu, who is from my home county, Kihara. And for the first time, County Commissioner Kihara made peace between the Kikuyus who live in Gishu and the Kalenjins, and we didn't have anything happen or any incident.
Right.
But for Oscar to tell him Wasa Wewe Wanze could resign, who is he? That is a government official. Fortunately, the ministry transferred him. But our people can now start saying, so you empower somebody, and instead of him protecting your own people, he starts harassing them and even firing them. I'll tell them this is just the tip of the iceberg. God forbid, in most unlikely event, that those people remember Kanini Kega, they remember Gojiri Wambugu, they remember the people that they thought they were not reasonable, but we might have seen far more than many people have seen.
For those who are victims of this elaborate scheme, the governor, Nakuru, for example, the Kaninis of this world, is there recourse? Is there a plan to go to court, or is it over?
It's not over. Several of them I know will be going to court. Right. So, as I said, what you've seen in the Supreme Court, this is just about presidential.
Right.
Wait until the rest of the country now comes to the court.
Right.
There'll be much more that is going to be unveiled.
Right.
But most importantly, I want to tell them that they are heroes. They are soldiers, and strong soldiers. Sometimes the journey that is taken by majority might not lead you to anywhere. But the journey that is tough, even biblically, is the one that takes you to heaven. You know, the one that has a lot of difficulties. We had our forefathers who fought, who are Mau Maus. Some of them sacrificed, some of them lost their lives, some of them were never compensated. But we know they really offered themselves. They might be the second generation Mau Maus who had to sacrifice their position. They were chased out from their position. It's not that they never worked. And I want to tell Kanini, Gojiri Wambogo, and the rest, they know, and especially Kieni.
Yes.
How Kanini took Kieni. Kanini was even making those roads that the governor is supposed to be making. He has done a great job. And I just want to tell him, well done. If you had to sacrifice for this second liberation, or it's now the third liberation,
yes,
you are among the people who sacrificed. But remember, you might be opening your doors to bigger things. You don't have to be a member of parliament for you to serve your community. There are several other opportunities that God can open.
Right.
And I'm one strong believer. When I said I'm not going to vie for Moranga, I made a sacrifice. If I just wanted to be elected in Moranga County, I would have gone to the popular, I would say, the popular party. We have seen funny people being elected because they went with the popular party. But I want to tell people from Central Kenya, even from Moranga, I hope 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, you will not sit and regret. I just hope you not sit and regret, because choices have consequences. Look at the value. Why do you vote? Is it that party that is going to put food on your table, or is it the individual who is going to make an enabling development for you to either work, bring industries? You know, we had a fantastic Azimio, which is still there. We still have a fantastic manifesto.
Yes.
So right now, people are there, school fees. I know the issue of health. I already have several bills that are there. Azimio had such a fantastic way of sorting out with Baba Care, with the school fees, with having the programs for the less fortunate, industrialization. Why would you just follow a wave and deny yourself opportunity for people who are willing to transform your lives?
I hear you. If you're just joining us, this is the People Vs Chebukati, and in studio with us is Mheshimiwa Sabina Chege. I'll just read 2 comments or so, and then we go to closing remarks. Luka, Liza, Baba Tosha, Nyakindu, Chebukati Jela, Wainaina, kairetu wewe ne wito. And well, this is a bit off. It's about plumbers. This plumber issue is not going away. Yes. So, Mheshimiwa, your closing remarks.
My closing remarks will first go to Baba diehards and supporters who have supported Baba for many years.
Right.
This is no time to give up. This is the time to wake up and even fight more. I'm disappointed when I hear people saying we have voted for him too many times. Now this time we are giving up. Do not give up. You know, in my mother tongue, we normally say, I want to direct translate it. Ya kwamba nyumba upotea saa zile inakuwa mature. Or like when you are becoming stable, that's when you lose it. This is the time that even some of us who have never supported Baba are with Baba.
Yes.
So this is the time that you need, even if you're told to wake up again and again, you should not give up. Because we cannot allow people to deny us our rights. And you know, you wake up and practice. Go out there and vote Baba again if you are asked to. And this time, if you woke up alone, make sure you go with somebody else. Because we have seen again, voter turnout, even in Mombasa, in Kakamega and the rest, the voter turnout was very low. Please wake up, go 2, 3, 4 people, 5. Once you are done, make sure you also make sure that your neighbors, if they are Baba supporters, make sure we all go out. We kama mtu wako hospitali, whatever it is, we must make sure that we cast that vote. Second, we have learned that we have no one to trust to guard our vote apart from ourselves. So have structures. Once you cast the vote, be there. Make sure until it is counted and until we know the final tally and we write it in our books so that we will also have evidences if evidence is needed on what was casted in my own village, in my own polling center.
Right.
So we have to make sure that we protect the vote and we must make sure that anybody who comes to buy voters will do what Kakamega did, will do what Mombasa did. We cannot allow other people to come and determine who is going to be our leader. It is our choice and it is our time. So let's not give up. Some of us are there. They may have reported 25%. I'm very sure now if we are to go back again, the percentage would have gone. And for the ones who are aggrieved, because there are people even from Central Kenya who are not supporting Baba. But the candidates that you wanted to be your leaders were denied a chance because they were with us. And you were given candidates that you didn't want. That's another reason to make sure that you wake up and vote for Baba. Because he's the one who is there for the truth. He's the one who is there to bring all Kenyans together. He means well. He have tried many times. This is his time.
Very well put. Well, as we wind up the show, allow me to thank the legal team. The legal team did a wonderful job. And of course, every single individual who was on the floor at Bomas, chaotic as it was, their contribution was not in vain. Because a lot of the material collected there became very important fodder for the legal team to present in court. There are very many Kenyans from all walks of life, well-wishers, who came up and presented ideas, presented evidence. We have to thank you. And of course, we have to thank His Excellency for remaining strong. And I leave you with the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who asserted that as follows, and I quote, that the measure of a man is not known in times of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. End of quote. Have yourself a very good evening.
As we have a good evening, pray that Monday it goes well. The ones who can be able to fast, we have Saturday, Sunday, Monday to fast. Let us pray for our nation.
Amen. Inawezekana.